So The Sims 4 got a base game update today, and they revealed something that I wasn't really expecting. You guys know that when the Sims team do these base game updates, they give you a list of all of the things that they fixed in this latest update, and it's normally a mixture of pack things as well as base game things. They did announce all of these fixes a few days ago, so absolutely none of this is a surprise, but there is something that is a surprise, which nobody, I think, was expecting at all. Firstly, in terms of performance, they've said they've made some optimizations so the game uses less memory and we may experience fewer crashes, better frame rate, and a more responsive simulation, thank God. They've also said we've improved a lot of load processes, so it should happen a bit faster, the lot loading processes, so that's always good. But there's something else which they refer to as DirectX 11 preview. If you don't know anything about PCs, that's fine. Basically, it just means that they're working on making The Sims 4 run better if you have modern hardware. So obviously The Sims 4 came out 10 years ago and things have changed a lot since then. So if you haven't upgraded your PC in the last 10 years, this may not apply to you. But if you have a PC, not Mac, just PC, and you run DirectX 11, you can now play a special beta version of The Sims 4 with improved rendering capabilities that allow for more details and immersive environments in future releases. In other words, you know the worlds, the Sims 4 worlds are kind of like set dressing. It means we might be able to get a bit more detail added to the set dressing. So it means absolutely nothing for gameplay. But today, I really want to try out this brand new DirectX preview version of The Sims 4. It's basically like a upgrade to The Sims 4, but it's in beta, so it may not work properly. In order to make this work, you have to click on Manage, then click on View Properties, and then paste in -DX11, and then save it, and then just play it this way. They did say when you do this, you should uninstall all of your mods, and I definitely did not do that, so maybe I should disable mods first. Oh no, it says mods already disabled, lovely. Currently, I play The Sims 4 on enhanced graphic settings, so everything is at the highest as it normally is. I don't really know if I'm even going to notice any effects. I'm assuming it is just mostly graphics related. Honestly though, I feel like the loading screen seemed a little bit less jittery. I don't know if that was just me. I'm going into the latest world, Tomarang, which I think will be the most interesting one to go into. I don't know if this affects graphics of recent worlds, but they've basically said the main reason why they're doing this is so that they can improve the way that newer worlds look in the game and perform, which I'm just skeptical about because, you know, like Tomarang, like this world looks incredible, but it's like, it's so boring. Like there's nothing to do. Like it's a whole lot of nothing. Like it's great if they add all of these performance updates, but they don't make the worlds more fun. Then like, I don't really care that they're prettier, if I'm being honest. Anyway, I don't feel like I'm really noticing any difference now, and my game has lagged a little bit already. Obviously, this is like a beta thing that they're testing, so I don't know if like maybe they just still need to optimize it and stuff. But the only thing I noticed, I felt like my game did literally load just like a little bit faster. Like it was just, I don't know, it was just a little bit snappier, but maybe that's just me looking for it. I'm not quite sure. And do you know what? We haven't gone laggy when we moved into build mode, which is very interesting. Coming in and out of build mode, nothing seems to be lagging as it would do normally, which I think is really, really interesting. I have noticed as well, like I just feel like the lots are loading maybe very slightly faster, but again, I'm not too sure if I'm just like seeing things. I'm not too sure if I'm looking for it, but I'll be honest, like I'm not noticing like a noticeable change, but I guess it's something that I'm gonna have to just mess around with over the long term, because as we know, like the more you get into a save file, the more buggy it gets. So do you guys know one bug that hasn't been fixed in ages? Can you see the trees like in the shadows, like they move in a jittery way? They used to move like the shadows very smoothly, but there's been like a bug where they don't move smoothly anymore, and this hasn't actually been addressed. Like it's such a random thing, but like I just find it so distracting. I wonder if they'll fix that one day. But for now, I feel like it's nice that they're at least making a first step in terms of of actually getting things sorted. So that's always good. Although we've just loaded into build mode and it's incredibly laggy. So we still have that sometimes. But the main thing that I really wanted to discuss today was the future of The Sims 4 and if it's finally looking a little bit more optimistic. I mean, let's be honest. The reason why they're probably doing this is out of fear of the competition because there's so many more life simulation games that are coming out soon. And EA are probably worried about the future of The Sims, as they should be. EA is the king of game cancellations. They've cancelled so many games. EA kind of buy out game studios or publishers or whatever, and then they run the game into the ground, and then the game never sees light of day. But because they own the rights, they won't sell the rights back to the original developer, and it's all just a mess. This is a big problem with EA in the wider gaming world. As you guys may know, they basically killed off SimCity, so maybe they're looking at the foreseeable future of The Sims and thinking, oh my god, maybe we need to sort our stuff out. Yes, we do, because The Sims is one of EA's biggest gaming franchises outside of the sports. Whenever we think about EA and the Sims community, we always think of The Sims, but actually there's even bigger games. Like all of the EA sports games are so much bigger than The Sims. But the difference is the EA sports games are licensed in a way that no other video game developer can really compete with them. EA sports titles use the real names and likeness of actual sports stars, and because EA have the rights to that, other video game developers can't really do it. So EA doesn't have any competition. If you think The Sims 4 is cash grabby, honestly, like have a little deep dive into that sports games because it's so much worse than The Sims. Okay, like imagine, you know, like Sims 4 kits. So imagine if The Sims 4 had like loot boxes, and every time you open a loot box, you may get an object from a Sims 4 kit or something. Like imagine it being that bad. Like that's what the EA sports games are like, but there's not really anything that the players can do about it to complain because they will buy it anyway because they own all the rights to all the sports. But where The Sims is concerned, EA don't really own the rights to life simulation games, only The Sims, and it's not like they're using anybody's real likeness, which means that other developers can make their own life sims and compete with them. So I feel like this is the first time one of EA's major video game franchises is being put under a little bit of a threat, and honestly, good for them. I'm so happy all these upcoming life simulation game developers are coming out. Even if I don't play their games, the actual impact that they're having on The Sims already seems to be rubbing off in the fact that they seem to be trying harder to fix the game, because I don't know if you've looked under the comments of any Paralives video, Inzoi, Life by You, whatever. Under the comments of all of their videos, I always see people saying things like, finally I can ditch EA to play a different game. Or people say like, as soon as this game is coming out, I'm uninstalling The Sims and the EA app and I'm never buying anything from EA again. Like the Simmers really do hate EA. And I think these upcoming life simulation games, I do think they are scaring them a little bit. Also, I just want to say it's the first time in ages, like a few of the people in the Sims team are actually speaking on Twitter, because they've gone silent for months because obviously morale in the Sims community is at an all-time low. I feel like the EA employees, that Sim gurus as they call themselves, they haven't really been online on Twitter and stuff as much as they usually would, but they seem to be coming up just a little bit lately, I guess in more of a positive way. I do think it's very interesting that the Sims team are finally just getting their act together with The Sims now. They've promised at least 6 more months of updates, with updates coming every 2 months. So basically we've got 3 updates in total. One of them was today, so there should be another 2 more minimum, as they said, but hopefully this will be going on longer than 6 months. They seem to be really hot on this idea of actually fixing the game now, which I'm very skeptical about, because every kind of team or studio or department that they've announced that they've created normally disappears within a couple of months, because I don't know if they're restructuring or what, but the Sims team often say we're going to do this thing, but then they do it once or twice, but then they never do it again, and they seem to have this weird turnover with all these different things that they're doing, and it's really hard to know if they're actually telling the truth this time, because every single previous time they haven't told the truth. They've done something nice once to shut everyone up, and then they've promised to do it a few more times, but then they don't do it a few more times. This is why I do not trust this whole sentiment of the Sims apology that they released recently. Like, I don't know if I'm going to take it as true or not, and I'm trying really hard not to be toxic positive or toxic negative, because you guys know I complain about The Sims 4 all the the time, and rightfully so. But I will give credit that they're actually trying to make effort with, for example, the DirectX preview and the supposed promises of even more performance updates coming. But I also feel like I need to look at it with a critical eye in terms of they have gone back on what they've said they would do before. They do also have a habit of doing one small thing and promising more nicer things in order to shut people up, but never doing it. And also, the game has been out for 10 years now. We've got 10 years worth of DLC being built on a broken platform, and there is such a backlog of like bugs and glitches, like well over 1,000 by now. I'm so sure there's like well over 1,000, which is just insane to me. In fact, a lot of the bugs that have been fixed in today's patch have actually been reported maybe like 2 to 4 years ago, and they're only finally getting around to doing it. So I'm not going to be like, I'm so happy, because like they're literally doing the bare minimum of what they should have done years ago. It's just they're doing it now. This big multi-billion-dollar company who should have had the budget to deal with it are only just getting on with it, and it's just insane to me. One thing I can proudly say is I'm very glad I'm more toxic negative. I'm proud to be a glass half empty, because with all of this outrage that simmers like us have given them, they're finally getting their act together. If no simmers complained, this probably wouldn't have happened. So it's actually a good thing that we're complaining, and carry on being Karens. I love being a Karen. As I've gotten older, I don't know if it's because my temporal lobes are fully developed now, but I just love being a Karen. Yes, I do. And I'm more than happy to keep being a Karen in order to get this game better. And I think we need to keep threatening to ditch The Sims 4 when Paralives and Inzoi comes out, because I believe that will further help them get their act together. I think it's a very positive step forward. I said as soon as the first life simulation game competitor came out, I think it was Paralives, the first thing I said was competition is going to be great for The Sims 4, and it's going to scare them into doing better. And it seems like we're already getting that with The Sims 4. Not just that, obviously it's going to have repercussions for Project Renee too. For all we know, there may be some changes going on in the Project Renee development team of thinking, okay, these life simulation games are doing this, so we need to do this too, or we need to do something better instead. We also need to be fixing The Sims 4. It seems like hopefully they're going to be keeping themselves very busy. Now the weather's getting a little bit better. Everybody's getting over their seasonal affective disorder. I know I am, so we're all in better moods. And I think that early, I guess kind of beta you might call it, implementation of DirectX is going to be a great start. And they've said that this may have an impact on the future of Sims 4 with future packs and being able to give them more stuff to do. But they have just said right now that this will allow for more details and immersive environments, meaning I'm assuming that just means like the Sims 4 worlds are going to look prettier, which they already look pretty. They're just a pile of wank and they've got no gameplay. Like, I genuinely think the Sims 4's aesthetic is timeless, even if it did not look any visually better. Like, the way it looks now is perfect. I genuinely love the way the Sims 4 looks. I definitely feel like the main core issues are with the gameplay and the stability in the performance, and not just that, but also just like the cash grabbiness. Like, EA haven't addressed the cash grabbiness yet. They probably never will, but at the very least it seems like they're getting that act together with graphics and performance. Now we've just got to see if they will eventually get that act together with the quality of the packs in terms of the depth of gameplay and the breadth, because Sims 2 had depth of gameplay, Sims 3 had depth and breadth, and The Sims 4 has neither. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see specifically when the brand new expansion pack comes out, which in my opinion is more than likely going to be a miss, but it could be a hit. By the way, the 2 brand new Sims 4 kits are coming out on Thursday, and if you want to see initial previews of them and my initial thoughts and expectations, then make sure you watch this video here. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.